Turns out that one of the wealthiest countries in Europe, Switzerland, plans to ban electric cars from the roads and order game consoles turned off during power shortages in a bid to reduce energy consumption. I'm really curious how they're going to figure out if a console is turned off or not. Like, are they going to knock into random people's houses? Are they going to use an army of snitches? Is the mother supposed to pick up the phone and go like, "My son, he is playing Call of Duty this Christmas. The monster." But to be honest, this reminds me a little bit of a personal story of mine, which infuriates me to this day. You see, when I decided to purchase this house, I had the freedom of designing my personal kitchen. And I thought at the time that, well, we're not going to use gas. We're not going to use gas because electricity, green. Greta Thunberg is on the television. No one questions her. I mean, look at the comment section. Not a negative thing to say about Greta Thunberg. We need electricity. And now the price of electricity is skyrocketing. And meanwhile, my dad, who still uses gas, is laughing at me. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. To be honest, I find it very interesting how, yet again, the normal people have to make sacrifices. Not the politicians who have their private jets. Not the people surrounding Greta Thunberg or the other people at the World Economic Forum. No, they have cars. They have normal cars. But meanwhile, the plebs who were dumb enough to purchase an electric car, probably make a loan from a bank or something like that. Oh, good luck getting to work now. So, apparently, this is because of Russia. Yes, because Russia forced two massive pipelines into the asshole of Germany. It's not the German people that wanted it. It's not that when Trump was laughing at Germany, they dismissed him. It's not that you have environmentalists in office who literally want more of this. I mean, if you look at the energy sector in Switzerland, around 60% of it is from hydroelectric. And then they have, I believe, another 30%, which is nuclear. And, of course, the green activists want to get rid of the nuclear, so they're going to phase it out in order to make this crisis even worse. I do not know why people who are advocating for this level of environmentalism aren't treated the exact same way like we treat racists. Like, saying a racist joke or saying that we need to get rid of nuclear power should be literally on the same scale. Like, people should treat one like they treat the other. But for some reason, that doesn't seem to happen. So apparently, Switzerland will ban the use of electric cars for non-essential journeys if the country runs out of energy this winter. Again, like, what the fuck is a non-essential journey? Like, if I wanna... First of all, if you have an electric car, you're pretty wealthy, right? So it means that you're probably an entrepreneur, or you're most likely a person that requires to meet with clients. Like, is meeting with the client an essential journey or not? This level of fascism and control and interference in the private person's life is sickening. Why the fuck would you have to tell to the government where you're going? I'm going to visit grandmother, and the government goes, not in your car, you're not. Not in the car you spend money for, you're not, because we have an energy crisis. Emergency plans drawn up in the event that Swiss are hit by blackouts also call... and by the way, Swiss are hit by blackouts? I was told this is a harmful, dangerous conspiracy theory and flogged by huge misinformation online. Oh, now it's... Oh, the government is talking. Why is the government conspiring then? So apparently, blackouts also call for shop opening hours to be reduced by up to 2 hours per day. Of course, you're not going to get compensation. You know, Christmas is coming. You have to pay more bills now for the heating. You have to buy presents for the family. Oh, take that. 2 hours per day, your shop closed. Now, I'm not unreasonable. I do fucking understand that in a situation of crisis, you're doing rationing. I get that. But this is not a crisis imposed by Mother Nature. It's not a tsunami. It's not a hurricane. It's a crisis that has been done by mismanaging. Why aren't the people that led to this crisis being punished? Why aren't they being fired? Why are not the experts that thought that, oh, there's not going to be an energy crisis and it's harmful misinformation, why aren't they being fired? Why are the fact checkers not losing their jobs? This is what I don't understand. And during the pandemic, if you guys remember, when people like me were saying, okay, well, if you lock down the economy, you're going to have economic consequences down the line. Like, those people were fine with that at the time. But now, apparently, no one is responsible, right? Like, all the people that were like, oh, we need to be more green and more environmental friendly, why did they pay a little bit more? You know, they should pay a little bit more than everyone else because they asked for this shit. Apparently, the more the ESG level of a nation rises, the worse the lifestyle of the people. Crisis measured could see streaming services and games consoles banned. Oh, so this is how they want to do. Like, they want to ban the purchase of a console. So if you haven't bought one by now, you should buy it, I guess. And you can't have, like, streaming services. So I guess, like, PlayStation Plus isn't going to work. You're not going to be able to watch Netflix. This is in one of the richest nations in Europe, I would like to point out. The country gets around 60% of its energy from hydroelectric power stations, such as dams across rivers and generators, right? So like, you already have the greenest fucking country imaginable, and then you have like a third of power, as I mentioned before. I didn't know they were going to bring it up in the article. You have the other third of the power coming from nuclear, which they want to get rid of. Because hydropower relies on rainfall and snowmelt to top up rivers and reservoirs, it is naturally increased during spring and summer, but fails during autumn and winter. No, like, fact checkers, a fucking army of them, told me on social media that this is not a concern. That if you have, like, green energy, it goes 24/7. In turn, that means that energy shortage in Europe caused by Putin war in Ukraine. No, it's caused by Germany wanting gas from Russia while wanting to be in NATO. Like, Germany had to make a choice. Do you want to be with the Russians or do you want to be with NATO? It's simple as. And they wanted to be in NATO. Okay, then stop taking gas from Russia. It's fine alternative. But no, what they did is, like, they wanted to take gas from Russia and they wanted to also destroy their own energy sector. So no more burning coal, no more nuclear energy. They wanted to push France through the power of the European Union to dismantle its nuclear reactors. That didn't work. Right? But it's Putin's war in Ukraine. Shut the fuck up. Like, what if, like, there was no war in Ukraine? What if, like, Russia just wanted to fuck with Germany one day and said, you know what? We're not going to give you any more gas. Who would have been responsible then? Germany is Switzerland's largest energy exporter and was hugely reliant on Russian supplies. France is second and is currently suffering issue with its nuclear reactors. I don't understand, like, what happened in France because they have more nuclear power, but from what I get, they require maintenance, and the way the maintenance was scheduled is literally this year. I'm not a nuclear expert. I don't know if it could have been delayed, but I personally would have delayed it for at least 1 year, because I would be like, okay, well, now is the energy crisis. Maybe next year, you know, can it still operate on safe parameters if we delay the maintenance 1 year? Or maybe we can alternate a couple of reactors. We can do like a third of them this year, a third of them next year. But again, I'm not an expert. I don't know what's happening behind closed doors. It's just weird as fuck that in a time when you have an energy crisis, that's when the reactors need to go under maintenance. So the country's emergency plan is divided into two categories, emergency and crisis. So it is designed to operate like COVID lockdowns. By the way, I remember the environmental lockdowns. They were being discussed a little bit in the papers here and there. I guess Switzerland is trying to do them, huh? I love how the COVID lockdowns, you know, which initially started in China, an authoritarian country, a dictatorship that we in the West, who allegedly love our democracy, want to stray away from. So we noticed the lockdowns over there and we're like, maybe we can get them over here. And now that they had them, it's like, okay, well, now every time there's a crisis, apparently we can turn our cities into prisons, lock people in their homes and shit. Under the least extreme emergency measure, people will be asked to limit their washing machines to 40 degrees, with public buildings heated to no more than 20 degrees, unless they are a hospital or a nursing home. That will decrease to 19 under the next level of restriction, with streaming services forced to limit the resolution of their videos to standard instead of HD. Now, under the level of emergency measure, shops will be asked to reduce opening times by 2 hours per day, so fucking their economy even further. That means attending a professional practice, food shopping, visiting doctors, attending religious events, and attending court hearings. Yeah, like, I love how they can just fuck with the religious events. It's almost like it's something not essential nowadays. I mean, you know, like, religious people, they use priests, kind of like a psychologist. Like when things go bad, and I know this because I come from a religious family background. Like my grandmother was very religious, and whenever she had problems in her life, like she would go to church. Like that's the level that she would have like a psychological benefit, right? Like that's how she would cope with the problems. And I assume many people are like her. But now every single time there's a problem, like a crisis, everything is bad. Like let's take the churches away so that people can't get that psychological relief. I genuinely like don't understand how big of a problem are those churches? Like realistically speaking, like how much electricity does a church actually consume? I don't think that this is in order to we're protecting the environment. I think you just don't want people to hear what the priest has to say. That's the only explanation. Not to mention, like most of the people in Europe, at least in places like the United Kingdom, probably Switzerland, they're not that religious. Like even religious people are not that religious. Like you take a religious person from today and you compare it to someone from 100 years ago, day and night difference. Under crisis measure, hot water will be turned off. Holy shit, this sounds like communism. Yeah, when I grew up, like the hot water was only available 2 hours a day. Moving up the scale, outdoor Christmas lights will then be extinguished, escalators will be stopped, and commercial ice machines will have to be shut down. I remember when I went to London, and I shit you not, there was this mall which had an escalator shut off, and it said like, we are saving the planet. I'm like, motherfucker, you're saving your electricity bills. Shut the fuck up with that shit. And then there were like, in the hotel room, before leaving the hotel room, please make sure that you don't have anything in the electric socket. Think about the environment. And I'm like, no, I think I should think about your electricity bill, not the environment. Swimming pools will have to shut down. Sports stadiums cannot be illuminated. Nightclub lighting will be turned off. Cryptocurrency mining will be barred. Do people still do that though? Under the most extreme measures, all leisure businesses will have to close and sports matches will be banned. Yeah, it is absolutely fucking ridiculous. This is one of the richest countries in Europe, and yet we still have more environmentalists. We still have like the Stop Oil, bizarre individuals. I genuinely don't know. And the Germans, they still vote for their green parties. Switzerland still wants to shut down its nuclear reactors. People aren't upset. Well, if people aren't upset, then they deserve more of the same. Let me know what you guys think, and I will be seeing you on a live stream. I'll be talking about the things that have been exposed on Twitter. Apparently, Twitter came out and released how censorship used to work at their company. We get a little bit of a glimpse behind the closed doors, and hopefully I'll see you on my live stream right after this. Take care.